So on continuation with the glycolysis, we have seen who have discovered and what is the process, and this glycolysis process which is having the two phases in its structure. So firstly the preparatory phase or energy investment phase, so the energy have to invest first and then the energy has to generate. So it consists of 5 different reactions, and during this phase the glucose molecule is converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate by moving through series of chemical reactions. So 2 molecule of ATP is invested during this phase, and while 2 newly synthesized molecules of ATP are also found at the end of the preparatory phase. So in this preparatory phase the energy is invested or consumed in the form of 2 ATP. So energy is invested, energy in the sense ATP molecule is invested for the generation of ADP molecule. So ATP is adenosine triphosphate and ADP is adenosine diphosphate. And coming to the second phase, it is called as payoff phase or energy generating phase. So payoff phase in the sense the energy has to be generated with the previous investor. So from that glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, it moves 5 different series of chemical reaction and lastly converted into pyruvate. And production of ATPs with the energy molecules is important aspect of payoff phase, and in this payoff phase the energy is released or produced in the form of ATP, that is 4 ATP and 2 NADH molecule is formed. So what are the two phases? One is preparatory phase or energy investment phase, and another one is payoff phase or energy generating phase. And here we have seen the glycolysis chemical reaction. So first in the starting, you just leave the right side part, only you just concentrated in the glucose. So glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of enzymes. So enzymes I will tell you the later. Glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate where the energy is invested, that is ATP is invested to ADP, and glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate, and here also the another ATP is converted into ADP. So 1 and 3 reaction is having the energy is invested, that is ATP is invested to form ADP. And further fructose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, and further fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is converted into dihydroxyacetone phosphate DHAP and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So you have seen some of the arrows are up and down. So this up and down aromas, it indicates it is reversible reaction. So fructose 6-phosphate is converted into reversibly glucose 6-phosphate. So these are all the reversible reaction. So further dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is converted into 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. So here ADP is invested where ATP is generated. So these are the energy investment phase, and these are the energy generating phase. So these are the energy generating phase where 2 NAD plus 2 Pi gives to NADH plus 2H plus, where 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate is converted into 3-phosphoglycerate, and 3-phosphoglycerate is converted into 2-phosphoglycerate, wherein the water molecule is leaving in that 2-phosphoglycerate, and 2-phosphoglycerate is converted into phosphoenol pyruvate, and phosphoenol pyruvate is converted into pyruvate, 2 molecules of pyruvate. So finally you have seen from this 2 ADP is converted into ATP and 2 ADP is converted into ATP. So totally of 4 ATP is produced. ATP is nothing but the energy adenosine triphosphate. So the overall structure resembles it is the glycolysis. So glucose, from that glucose it is break down into pyruvate 2 molecules. So glucose 1 molecule, pyruvate 2 molecule. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 resembles the enzymes. So the enzymes which act upon this for the conversion of one molecule to another. So enzyme for glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of first enzyme. So enzymes will be seen in the next slide. So several 10 enzymes are involved in the series of chemical reactions. So glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of hexokinase enzyme. We'll see in the next.